What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brian from American Auto coming at you today with yet another different one. The guy that owns the Sinister Harley over here, well, he bought him a little beat around car that he wants to do a once over on. He's planning on, well, he was talking about taking a different job, doing something completely different, and he needed a vehicle that he could pull behind his truck. And so he asked me what I thought about it, and I said, find you a Saturn. I mean, they're not hot rods, but they are the absolute best flat towing vehicle in the world, in my opinion. I don't know of another one that comes from the factory ready to be flat towed. So he found him this little Saturn for like $400, real cheap. So this is it. This is the 2002 Saturn L200. It's got a 2.2 twin cam 16 valve 4-cylinder. We're gonna start with replacing that. I'll set that over here for now. I don't see any massive oil leaks. Although it's dirty, I don't see anything dripping out. Not back here either. Let me back this camera out a little bit so y'all can see it some. I don't see anything dripping out. I don't see anything to worry about. I mean, it's really a very clean engine. And this up here that I'm noticing, hey, you like that tie down, that battery tie down, that's NHRA ready. There's a little bit of oil up here, but it doesn't really look like it's coming from the valve cover, because it's not all the way across. What it looks like is somebody might have spilled some putting it in there. And what I did notice when I pulled this janky dipstick, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's a quart low. Now, that could be from an oil leak, or that could be from it just using it. It seems like I remember vaguely the Saturns used a little bit of oil even when they were new, but not real sure. But we're going to, it definitely set up under some trees, so we're going to blow all that out. Now, the guy that owned the car initially said it needed a CV joint. Well, I drove the car. It ain't clicking, but we're going to jack it up and we're going to check those CV boots down there on each side too. So, let me put y'all on a time lapse and we'll jack it up and check them out. Okay? All right, okay. So we're getting ready to take this tire off. I've got that lug nut set there, or that socket set there, and that impact. So go ahead and leave it in the comments down below to all of you that want to complain that I'm using the wrong sockets and the wrong kind of impact on the wrong kind of car and using the wrong kind of jack stands. Oh, and I left the safety off. So y'all jump in there and nail me on that, okay? Now that they're doing that for everybody else, as if you don't know, and some of you may not, these little pieces here are just plastic covers. That's it. So you don't have to use this tool to get those off. Some of them are a little tighter than others, and you might have to give it a little knock with it, but nothing major. Nothing major. So, there's that. Oh my God, they're high tech. They're blue. Actually, these are studs. So, I'm gonna have to have both hands for this. So, and it looks like somebody's already been in here before. But anyway, all right, let me have both my hands so I can take this off and I'll bring it back in a second. All right, just like that, tire's off. I don't see a whole bunch of grease on the inside of the wheel there, which is a good thing. There's a little bit on the sides there. Let's see, do we see anything worrisome here? Yes, I see a broken boot. Yep, that boot is shot. All the grease is out of it. Okay, no biggie. Did you know you can replace those boots? It's a bit of a pain, but we can do it. But a little bit of surface corrosion, nothing major. Brake pads look great on both sides. Ow. Tie rods are good. That boot is a little broken, but we'll probably change that one too, add some grease to it. Everything on this side looks good. Let's go check out the other side. I mean, we'll replace those two boots, but outside of that, I don't see nothing else that has to be done. Yeah, we're good. Let's go check out the other side, guys. All right, so passenger side is much gooder, actually. Still got plenty of brake pad. Rotors don't feel horrible. That boot looks really good. The inside boot looks really good. This ain't loose. That boot looks good. Grease certs, we'll probably go ahead and put some grease in everything. Guys, if you don't know, you'll notice what that grease cert there looks like and what that grease cert there looks like. Did you know if you pop your brake caliper, it's got one too? For those of you that don't know, yeah, you put grease in there. Go for it. I'm just playing. Before I get razzed on anything else about being stupid, that's where you bleed your brakes from. Anyway, wheel speed sensor looks good. That rear backing plate there's a little crusty, but that don't have any major function, so I wouldn't worry about that. Brake lines look tidy. Coil springs don't look bad. Not a whole lot of oil. So far, it's just that outer CV boot and a rack boot on the other side. All right, and just like that, that wheel's back on. So, for the sake of argument, we're gonna put this wheel back on for right now, and that way I can move this car around, and we will check under the back of it and make sure everything else is good. It calls for SA5W30, so I think that's what I've got in the shop here. Guys, Walmart sells these big buckets or these big boxes of oil, and that's 040, so we won't use that. But they have these big boxes of oil for like $30, and this was the European formula for my wife's BMW. 12 quarts for like 30-40 bucks, something like that. It was little to nothing, and that's like 2 or 3 oil changes. So if you go to Walmart, go pick that up. It is well worth the money, and it makes for things to be so much easier. All you have to do is go pick you up an oil filter, and if you have another vehicle that needs a quart of oil, you have it right there. So let's throw this other wheel on and check under the rest of the car. Also, we want to look at this seat right here. Look at that junk. I told him when he brought the car to me, and I sat in it for the first time, it felt like that commercial where the woman's complaining about colitis, and she opens the door of her van and there's a toilet sitting there. Well, that's what that big old hole right there feels like. It's the toilet. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's throw this other wheel on here and we'll move on from there. All right, so looking up under the rest of this car, and I'll hold it there so you can zoom in and look around. But just looking from here back, you know, I see a little bit of oil residue up here. That's actually not even really wet. I mean, it's wet, but it's not, you know, pure oil wet. Motor mount looks good. Not a whole, maybe it don't. Let's check that. Oh, that's not even connected. So I might want to put a bolt in the motor mount there. That'll fix that vibration. No wonder the motor mount looks good. It's not hooked up. So, yeah, let's find a bolt for that. But outside of that, guys, this car is very, very, very clean. So I don't see anything else that scares me. I'll put that motor mount bolt in and we'll go from there. And I think I got to get it from under here, actually, which might be why it's not in there. So let me figure that motor mount out and I'll bring it back in a minute. All right, guys. So I couldn't really video that, but I will get up under here and show you. Luckily, I hoard everything, so I had a couple of these bolts left over. And there was a slight vibration in this car when you crank it up and drive it and all that. Anyway, there's the main bolt. And you cannot see it, and you can't fit in there. You see that fan right there. Literally just enough room to get your ratchet and a socket in there. But anyway, so I put the bolts in, and I'll try to shake the engine for you and show you. But it's all connected now. So that should, in theory, eliminate the vibration in this. I don't know why my camera always goes to zoom 1. Must be an iPhone thing. Anyway, so we're going to get us an air filter for it. We're going to get those 2 boots that we need for the driver's side. And add a quart of oil. And outside of that, this car is good to go. This car is 100% good to go. Oh, and fix that seat. So I need to wash my hands before I touch that interior though. So let's blow that off and we'll get to it. So we're now driving the Saturn and seeing how it does. And I mean, this car runs really good. I think the AC needs to be charged up a little bit. But I mean, it handles like it's on rails, guys. We're running 65 right now. We're gonna turn around and head back toward the house. That little vibration it had has gotten substantially less. Substantially less. So let's give it a power run. Although in a car like this, can you really call it a power run? Here we go. We booking. We breaking warp speed. See, this thing runs great, guys. Look at there. Runs like a top. Look at there. So you see, as long as you're just looking for some kind of little janky car or something that doesn't really matter, you can find them out there for, I think he said he paid $400 for this car. And then paying me to do the once over on it, which is not much. So, you know, there's that. So we're still gonna put them 2 boots on. The CV joint seems to be in really good shape outside of that broken boot. And I'm just about willing to bet that they put that CV joint in and probably ripped the boot in the process. I'll make sure we can get just a rubber boot for it because that's the plastic one that's on there. And as long as we can get that, we'll be all golden. So, yeah. What an awesome running little car. What an awesome, awesome running little car. Smooth as silk. These little Saturns, man, I know they're grandma mobiles, but you just about can't beat them. Just about can't. Matter of fact, John Barons from Golden Rust or Bust, I saw in his video this morning that he's got one just like this, but he's got a body kit on it. Actually looks pretty awesome. Alright guys, so I'll bring you back when we get the boots and put them on. In the meantime, we got new gun parts in, so I'm gonna go play with gun stuff. So I'll bring you back in just a minute. We're back. It's the next day. Got the Saturn pulled back up here. We got the new Dorman Unifit CV axle boot right here. It is a rubber boot instead of that plastic that's on there. And it comes with new clamps and it's on grease. So let's get started getting this on there. Maybe, I hope this just slips right on. So let's get after it. All right, everybody, that is a job. Oh my God. That's back in there now. There's that one and that one back there. Now, what I wound up having to do to get this on here is take the whole CV axle out, because they sell a tool that will stretch it all the way over this backwards. It's like $300. I'm not spending $300 on a tool I might use once. So I pulled the whole CB axle out, and you can take that rear cup off, and if you're careful, you can save your grease and then add some more to it just to make sure it's all good. Okay, but you can stretch this part of the axle over it and take that one off as well. But anyway, outside of that, they're back on there, and now we're going back together. And just so you know, they send the metal types, which is what I put on this front side just because that's where all the main spin is. But zip ties are more than adequate to hold these, okay? The black ones. They also have metal line zip ties. I don't have any, but that's what I use on my stuff. Zip ties, you could use a big hose clamp, but you got to keep in mind that the hose clamp has a little bit of weight on it, and it might throw off the centrifugal balance on the shaft, maybe. But anyway, so that's back in there. So let's get this car thrown back together and get it done. All right, so we got that CV joint back together on the car, got the car set back down on the ground. Okay, now guys, remember, whenever you're doing something like this and you have to take the whole front end apart and stuff like that, you got to remember, after you've compressed your brake, once you get in the car, you have to pump your brakes a couple times so that way you build the pressure back up on your caliper. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll do like I did when I was like 16 and just take off the ramps, and guess what? You don't have no brake pedal, and then you start pumping and finally it stops. So that's always the first thing I do after I mess with brakes is pump the brakes on a vehicle, okay? Always pump the brakes first. Oh. Now, left the keys in the shop. Yeah. See, I love to eat, and my belly shows it. I know a couple people on here have seen it. But the only thing that stops it from getting any bigger than it is, because I drink a lot of Mountain Dew as well, and Red Bulls. But the only thing that keeps my belly from getting bigger is my inaptitude to be able to grab everything at one time or do things right the first time. So I end up having to get in and out of vehicles, in and out from under cars, you know, all that stuff. Climbing up under the hood of trucks 48,000 times. Let's see. Set you guys somewhere like right there. All right, brake pedal is already pumped up. Let me switch around. E-brake is on. We'll turn that off. Let's put our seatbelt on so that'll shut up. Let's roll some windows down because the AC don't work in here. Back out of this maze of a driveway. I can't go too far because I've got a AR-15 in my truck for where I'm fixing to go, and I don't want to leave it there and leave it unobtained. And you know, people around here, although I've not had anything stolen from this property, that don't mean it can't be, you know. Oh yeah, that's much better. That's much gooder. Much gooder, guys. Let's dart on out here. Goo chew, dude. Oh yeah, that's way gooder. That was 50. No clicky clacky. Everything's staying together. We rocking and rolling. Woo, hear that VTEC? No VTEC. That's Saturn Tech. I think we're in good shape, guys. Whee! Wee. All right. Well, that takes care of that. I had to mow the grass yesterday. Is there anybody on here, any of my subscribers on here in the Tri-Cities that's lawn people and would be interested in mowing my grass? Got a pretty large property and it don't take long, but I mean, I'll furnish the mower and the weed eater, and I'll still pay you to do it if you want to do it. So hit me up if you're in the Tri-Cities area near Elizabeth and Tennessee. Okay, so there it is. It's on there. We're good to go. That's on the 2001 SLLS 200, whatever it is. It's a Saturn. Not a high dollar car, but it's still a car nonetheless. CV axle's fixed. He's gonna get a new seat for it, and we put a new filter, new boot, and all that on it, and that's it. So maybe this video is a little bit better than the last one I uploaded, where I didn't show anything, and I simply just talked to you guys about all the work I did on that 3500 Dodge. I'm sorry about that. But anyhow, now I'm going to go play with that little blue Triumph that I did on my channel months ago. So here comes the little blue Triumph, the first car American Auto ever did as its own company. And here it is coming back in. God, it's still a good looking little car. He drove it better. Can't find them, grind them. And yeah, so that's going to take care of that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did watch this long, thank you. If you didn't, then oh well. Remember, share this with your friends, okay? I'm trying to build this channel. I don't understand why it's not growing. I don't. I mean, it is growing very, very, very slowly. But I don't understand why it's not growing any faster. Does that make sense? So, anyhow, that being said, guys, I will catch y'all on the next one. Hopefully this one will show you a little bit more work rather than just talking, okay? Y'all have a good one. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it don't change you. I hope y'all have a very wonderful day, and I hope y'all had a very wonderful Easter. It is Easter. It is not the alphabet day. It was Easter. That's the day that my Jesus rose from the tomb. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much. Peace. We'll see y'all on the next one.